Hey, greetings everyone, and welcome back to another great episode of my cybersecurity show. I'm so glad you've joined me today because we are talking about one of my favorite topics when it comes to cybersecurity, easily top three. And that's going to be C2s, command and control. Now, what are we going to be doing with C2s, Daniel? Well, we're not going to be necessarily diving into one, but I kind of wanted to show you a resource, and I found a new cool thing that was it was like a prize at the end of the rainbow for me as I was kind of exploring C2 land, as it were. And I was like, I did not know this was a thing. How did I not know this was a thing? Yeah, you may be knowing what this is, but maybe you don't. So that's why I'm making the video. And let's jump into this thing, right? I'm not going to give it away right now on what exactly the thing it was I found, but let's start with the C2 framework because the C2 matrix of C2 frameworks. You see what I did there? I fell down the stairs and I landed on my feet. But ultimately, the C2 matrix is a great tool. So if you've not been familiar with it, you're welcome. Enjoy. You're going to love this, right? So let's hit that about page and let's see exactly what does this thing do. What is the C2 matrix? So the C2 matrix, as you can tell from its very, very small text, if anybody knows anyone at the C2 matrix, you might want to tell them to, change the font size on this mission statement. It is a little ridiculous. So let's make it human readable. Thank you. And it says here's their mission statement, right? They're evaluating all C2s. That's what they're trying to do. That's what the intention of the C2 matrix is. So that's for you. So if you need one, not all C2s are made equally. And that's not a bad thing. That's cool to have that, diversity of different types of things, because it's kind of like anything, right? If someone asks you, what's the best X? You go, if you wanted to do what with it? In what way are you looking for the best, right? So when it comes to C2s, it says it is the golden age of C2 frameworks, command and control. The goal of this site is to point you to the best C2 framework for your needs, based on your adversary emulation plan and the target environment you're going to be working in. So take a look at the matrix or use the questionnaire to determine which one fits your needs, because you might be like, I've been using Cobalt Strike and it's great. I love it. But you know what? It doesn't do really well here or there. I wish it did this. Or maybe in this environment, it's going to get smoked so fast. I know, it's malleable C2s. You could probably you can fiddle around with it and make it not get smoked, not get busted. But what if you just are looking, you're shopping, you're thinking, what are the other options out there for me? Maybe a Brute Ratel is more along, a Posh C2. Maybe I want to go something open source, right? Sliver seems great. Havoc, plenty of C2s out there to be had, but I'm not really sure what does what and what goes where. Welcome to the C2 matrix. That is what it is saying and stating right here in its mission, that's why it exists. Okay? So that being said, I've turned this into a mobile app. As you can see, I've got the lovely little drop down thing. I guess we can do that. And we can go to, you got ask. I think that's the questionnaire that can take you through trying to pick one out. I'm not going to use the questionnaire. I'll let you go play around with that. It's a nice little tool, kind of gives you some options, asks you some questions, and then goes, these C2s seem to fit what you're looking for. So you handle that. But let's take a look at what other options we have. We got documentation, we got feedback, we've got the GUI, which is the last option here. But if I were to kind of bring this down, there it is. There's also this matrix button, which takes you to, it's a Google sheet of all these all these frameworks. I keep putting the 2 in the wrong spot. You guys got to watch me like a hawk, right? So if you wanted to go to the GUI, maybe this is your cup of tea. What it's going to do is going to list out a bunch of C2 frameworks eventually, or it's already there, right? And then you've got different tabs that you can explore. You got information, code and UI, channels, agents, capabilities, and the different types of support, right? So if I wanted to know, okay, just straight up informational, what can I see about this? And now that I got to click out of that box, and I can start to see, okay, app fell. It's the version that they reviewed is 1.3. That's good. So maybe they're on a different rev. And I'm like, oh, okay, did they make some changes there? Looks like it runs in Docker. We got Caldera, seems to be a Python C2, Cobalt Strike. It's a compiled binary. It's great. Everybody loves it, right? This is version reviewed as 2.0 or 2. We got Covenant. So some of these might be behind the 8 ball, but that's fine. I think that's fine. And the reason I think that's fine, well, that might have a problem when it comes into capabilities and code, some of the details about it, but at least you have a kind of a starting point, a list. You kind of get an idea of what some of the capabilities are. And ultimately, I would be surprised to see useful capabilities have dropped off in more current revisions. And instead, it would be new things have been added too. So these are good starting spots regardless. So that's cool. I can see what all that stuff is. If I hit code and UI, I can see a little more information about it. I hit channels. I can see what channels it uses for C2 communications. Yes. It doesn't like my two-finger scroll here, so I'm going to kind of do that. What else can we do? We can hit agents. We can see we've got in AppFell, we've got agents for Linux and Mac OS. But if I need Windows, maybe Caldera is a little more my speed. Obviously, old Cobalt Strike is going to give me the Windows, but no Linux, right? So just, again, back to the idea is, what's your poison? What are you looking to do? What's your environment like? And that's going to kind of help you steer you. This is going to try to help steer you into the right C2 framework. So a lot of cool ones out there. Let's take a look at capabilities, right? So we got custom profile and logging. Custom profile is a really nice thing. It's attack framework mapping, or the MITRE attack framework, right? You're familiar, hopefully. If not, you should definitely take a look at that. It's great for threat emulation. Okay, these are the different ways in which we do things like initial compromise and command and control and pivoting and post exploitation and all sorts of fun stuff, right? All right, let's see here. Now that we've got that kind of out of the way, you can take a look at that. Let's do one last thing. I do want to go to the actual sheet. So let's click on that if I can. That matrix, it just keeps scrolling right past me, everybody. I'm so sorry. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Want to play? Let's play. There we go. Here's the actual Google sheet, the doc. It's not a doc, it's a sheet, right? There it is. So if you like a little more Excel-looking environment to kind of look through this, one cool thing about this, I don't remember if it did this over there in the GUI, but let's click GUI just so it stops complaining. And capabilities, yeah, I don't see that here. Agents, support, maintained, this is all good. Capabilities, maybe. No, I don't see that here. So this is one of the things that the actual Google Sheet here is going to be a little more helpful with. There is a price column. Let's kind of blow this up just a bit. Okay, I got it. Thank you. I don't need this either. Yes, file looks suspicious. I'm sure it does. The current window is too small. It always is. But let's kind of scroll through here and see some of these prices, because you'll see that like Brute Retell here is commercial and it's $2,500. I almost guarantee that that is per license. I'm not 100% on that because I haven't bought Brute Retell or I haven't looked at pricing on their page. But from my experience, a lot of them are, it's per license per seat, right? So like Cobalt Strike, as we get there, is now $5,900, at least according to this sheet. I'm sure I have also another feeling that this Google Sheet is updated more often than maybe the GUI would be, right? Because there's, web dev that's got to go along with doing all the update. And this is just a sheet someone can maintain fairly simply and easily. So look through here, you get a nice list of things. Now, I said there was a treat, right? Some gold at the end of the proverbial rainbow here. And I'm not kidding around. I discovered something as I was kicking around the C2 Matrix site here. Let's just get this right here. And let's get these tabs back to the top. It's not going to do it, is it? It hates my guts. That's fine. Get the drop down. If you go to documentation, which is very, very nice, Lots of great information here. And I was reading through this, and I'm on the first page here, and I'm going through it. Here you'll find more detailed information. There's the main site. Here's the Google Sheet, and it's kind of like breaking down the main site into, honestly, in my opinion, a much more usable fashion. I don't really like their main site that much. It's just not my kind of UX, UI. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. But I see there's the questionnaire. And then it said right here, for those new to command and control frameworks, we recommend you start with Slingshot C2 Matrix Edition Virtual Machine in a basic lab environment. And I went, what's that? What are you talking about? Virtual machine. What is this? So I right click. I click a new tab. I say, what are you? It says, hey, sans Slingshot C2 Matrix VM. I'm like, what is this again? A virtual machine image to try some of the most popular command and control frameworks. You mean they're already installed? They're like, yes, they're already installed. Here's all the ones that are already installed. Covenant, Empire with Starkiller, Havoc, Coadic, or Coadic. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce that. Merlin, Metasploit, Mythic, Nimplant, Posh C2, and Sliver. I'm like, that's a lot of frameworks right there. Some of them I've like not really played with. Like, let me think of which ones. So I've done a little bit with Havoc, not a ton. I'm like, and it was kind of a pain to get installed. And you're telling me it's pre-installed, right? Empire with Starkiller. That was now the Empire has Starkiller and all that stuff. It's really cool with that web GUI that they got. Like, I don't think I've messed with Covenant. And I'm like, oh, this would be a great way to kind of play around with all these, and I don't have to worry about going through installation problems if there are any. Kali's pretty good at the ones that it supports. It just apt get install, bam, and they kind of run. But if you're not running Kali and you're doing something different, they can be a bit of sometimes can be a bit of a bear. So I downloaded this, and you'll never guess what? We've actually been using it the entire time. I just jumped over to a different desktop. So let's see here. Let's go to this. It's got a lot of really familiar look and feel. I just recently jumped to this from Parrot OS. Great pen testing Linux distro. Seems very similar to that. It looks like it is using Mate or Mate. Again, I'm not really 100% on how you pronounce that because the people that invented it, I haven't read that they've told me what it is. If you know, throw that down in the comments. That's interesting information. But like I said, it's very similar to that because it is the same desktop environment. You go to the Slingshot menu, and there you go. Bunch of stuff installed, right? There's Mythic. There's Covenant. There's Havoc. Right? And you can hover to discover, plus a bunch of other pen testing tools. There's Sliver. There's Posh C2. Right? We've got Veil. We've got Harvester. We got a bunch of, like I said, other great tools already built in. So, I mean, if you're looking for a pen testing distro or even like a more, like, because it has all these C2 frameworks, Red Team distro, Slingshot might very well be what you're looking for. And you get to play around with all these things. And you don't have to go through some of these things can be really difficult to install. Yeah, you can struggle your way through it and get to the end, but sometimes you just want to drop down, open the laptop, and go, run this, and it runs. Right? There we go. So Slingshot might be for you. All right, let's open this up. So cool thing is, if you go back to this, the C2 Matrix documentation, say you pick one you like, right? Let's say Havoc, right? Like I said, I played around with Havoc a little bit. Let's take a look at this. So if you're unfamiliar with Havoc, go over here to the left-hand slider menu. And over here, you can click on Havoc. And this is where it gets fun. It gets really nice. Documentation. It tells you where the wiki is. How to run the Havoc team server. Cool. I literally can copy and paste this. Copy. Run over here. Open a terminal, blow it up. I'm going to make it to where you can see it. Shift Control V to paste it in. Fire and forget. Look at that. It's running. Man, don't you love it when a plan comes together? It's super sweet. So now the team server is running. I can now jump up over here to actually what I should do is open a new terminal. So I got the server running there. We can just leave that. And I will sudo, I think it's an opt/havoc/ oh, what is it? It is clients. And it is Havoc. I believe we are getting close, if not correct. Actually, like I said, it's been a hot minute since I messed with this. Run the Havoc client. Booyah. Havoc client sudo. So again, copy. What am I trying to do the hard way and remember everything? Daniel, you're dumb. You're absolutely right. Let's do it the easy way and just copy pasta that sucker. Bada bing. Here it comes. Click new profile. See if it connects. Okay, yeah, I've noticed that it does this from time to time. Let's rerun that. Get this and change this password. I don't think the password is right. Password 1234, I believe it is. There we go. And now I'm in. Cool. I can go to attack. I can create listeners. Go create a listener. Hit add. Right, and this is this is very Cobalt Strike-ish. If you've never messed with Cobalt Strike, because it costs a lot of money, Havoc is very similar to it in look and feel. It doesn't have all the same capabilities, at least not from the cursory glance that I've seen, but it has a lot of them. It has a lot of good capabilities, so it's super useful. We'll just call this web beacon and payload HTTPS. That's fine, but you got HTTP, HTTPS, you got SMB. And external, configure the hosts. So I guess I'll just add that one. That's fine. Do a round robin. You got all these different options on port 443, which is normal. I can add headers. I can add URLs. I can do all sorts of fun stuff. My biggest complaint with this thing, and it always has been, is it kind of overruns. I can't get to the bottom of this, right? I can't resize it. It does it? Will it let me resize it? Let me resize it that way, but not down. So I can't really see if I can get to the, okay, do the thing. Anyway. Ooh, I think I was close. But that's weird. Enter. Yay, there we go. So now we got the listener going, and now I can create a payload. Go to attack, hit payload. I can start messing with this. I can use the daemon, which is its default agent. Got the web beacon already in there. What architecture I need, x64. I'm going to create a Windows exe. I can use a DLL. I can create shellcode. I can do all sorts of stuff. And now you'll notice this was just drop right in. Enjoy, Daniel. Here's Havoc C2. Play around, learn. Bada bing. I love this, right? This is so great. I'm done. I can mess with any of these things. I'm just going to hit generate and bam, it's starting to build. It's compiling the source. Once it's done, I'll have an exe in my system that I can now drop on whatever my targets are. If they get executed, I'll get a shell. I'll get a beacon. I can then create a shell, or I can do command and control normally like you normally do. So really cool, right? Not the only game in town, it had so many of those C2s in there, right? Let's go back, which was back to the top. I think it was here. What were the other ones, right? Empire was Starkiller. Love that one. Covenant's great. Oh, that was an accident. Merlin is also great. Metasploit is in there, right? And it should be, because a lot of folks still use Metasploit. It can be useful. I was talking to Mike Saunders from Red Siege about this. He's like, I got a friend that's all he uses, Metasploit. He loves it. So don't downplay the old Metasploit. We got Mythic, Posh C2, another really great one. Sliver, I've used Sliver a bit. I like Sliver a lot. So, man, if you're looking to play around with something, or you're looking for a new distro for pen testing, red teaming, Slingshot, right? There you go. Well, that's it, ladies and gents. Pretty straightforward episode today. Hopefully, if you've never heard of the C2 Matrix, now that's another great tool in your toolkit. You can kind of start looking through and finding the C2 framework that is right for you. And Slingshot, right? Tell me, Slingshot. I've really enjoyed it. I've been a long time Kali user. I've used Parrot for almost exclusively all last year. That was my go-to. That's all I used for like just about anything. And now I'm gonna ride and die with Slingshot for a little while. Let's see how it goes. So far, so good. Gets a thumbs up, seal of approval at this point. Haven't seen anything hinky. It's got a lot of great tools already built in. Installing tools that aren't built in has gone fairly well so far. Still early in the game. Things may change as they go, but maybe I'll do a review on that after a few months of messing with this and let you know more of my experience with it. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Hopefully you really enjoyed this episode. If you did, if you found some value in what you saw today, do me the immense favor. Reach down there, find that thumbs up, and smash that sucker, because that really helps the channel. Subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget the notification bell and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. I think that's all the pitch I got for you today. Thanks again for joining us, and until next time, keep hacking.